Hey y'all, welcome back to FetchQuest. It's been a while, but it's that time of year. I hope y'all stayed safe. I hope y'all are as happy as one can be in this endless quarantine. But yes, we were. Let's just go ahead and get in and think of it. I think Domikos, you were saying you wanted to catch us up this week, right?
Sure. Well, during the fairly short episode that we had previously, um, there was Domikos woke up, tried to go talk with some people, but the people he wanted to talk with were not present at the time, so he just went back home. Zahn did absolutely nothing as he was waiting for possibly an update from James. After Adamikos got back home, he tried to investigate the strange vial of poison that his father had given him, testing it on a bug, but the bug didn't die, at least that he saw at that moment. Kara revealed to her parents that she has a pet dragon. Zahn plotted with the Lord of the Fallen Keep, and that a god was unleashed, which her parents did not seem thrilled about at all. That's pretty much what happened.
Fantastic. All right. So, I believe Zahn is still in his home. Domikos, you're still in your home. I believe that Kara and Franziska went ahead and left Kara's home, right? Where were y'all headed?
I think it was just kind of around town. Look, like Kara just kind of showing Francisca around, like Moroth.
Sure. Okay. So, so Zahn's still waiting. Kara and Franziska are walking around. So, Domikos, what are you doing at home?
I'm waiting for possibility of talking with mom and dad. They're in a meeting.
Okay. Um, are you waiting in your room or?
I think that's where I was waiting last we left off because I had peripheral vision of a shadow thing
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. So,
that wasn't there but was there, but then wasn't there.
Domikos, you are sitting in your room waiting. Hold on. Get out of here. You're sitting in your room and you are waiting on hearing back, like for your mom to come by so that you guys can talk. You haven't seen each other in a while. When the reflection in your mirror seems to move.
Like my specific reflection or just a reflection in the mirror?
No, your reflection seems to kind of shift a little bit when you're not moving.
Was it a shifting that I would be familiar with
Just
due to certain things?
if if you were outside looking in, you'd assume it was you shifting, but you didn't just move. If that makes sense.
Okay. I'll focus on my reflection and see if anything stands out to me.
Sure. So, you're looking at your reflection. Your reflection's looking back. Then it kind of clears its throat a little bit, and you hear your own voice coming from the mirror. They think we're weak, you know.
When I said that, did my like was I physically talking or was it like mental?
No, the reflection is moving its mouth. You're not talking. Your reflection is moving its mouth, and you can hear your voice coming from what you assume is the mirror.
Interesting. It's one of these situations. Okay. Either that or they're being cautious around me, us. Is it us or me?
Well, us. I don't necessarily think it's cautious. Maybe weak isn't the right word. Weak-minded, I think. Well, we think, at least. We're not a tool. Down it goes.
I mean, I've known that for a while. I try not to be a tool.
Right. But people keep trying to make us a tool. Our parents, our new group seems to think of us more as more of a monster on a leash than Kara's pet. I mean, you've seen the way that Zahn talks to us.
Yes. Some of it was words of caution, especially back in Kel.
Yes, in Kel we did make a mistake, but that can happen to anyone. We were trying to rescue someone. Mistakes happen. It's not like we've been doing that again. But we could. Couldn't we? Not that we will. But we could.
How do you mean?
It's no secret that we're the strongest ones here. We're the strongest ones. We outclass everyone we know in terms of sheer power. We shouldn't have to keep hiding it because everyone else is afraid. It's not a crime to be strong.
No, it's not.
We left to get our brother away from these chains, right?
That was the idea.
But it seems like we've just wrapped ourselves up in more along the way. I think I think this part of us thinks that we shouldn't restrain ourselves anymore. I mean, look, we've been restraining ourselves for quite some time, since even before Kel, for others' well being or comfortability. And what did that get us? We told the group that we needed to get the crown to protect our brother from the toxic games that take place here. And what did they do? They tell us they're going for the crown.
One of them is, yes.
Well, we don't know where the other's loyalty lies. Do we?
No, we don't.
We've sacrificed so much to keep Teddy out of this. Willingly thrown ourselves, forced ourselves to act as tools, act as a tool to save Teddy. Haven't we?
Hindsight feels that way now.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't feel good, does it?
That's why I need to do this.
You mean kill Zahn's parents?
No, carry out the wishes of my family.
Or there's a simpler solution. You see a reflection reaches into its pocket and pulls out the vial. Now, we don't know exactly what this is, but if our lovable father was kind enough to hand this to us with instructions to wipe out a family with it, it's got to be pretty strong, right?
Yeah? Well, I would hope.
Yeah, would hope. But Zahn's parents really haven't done anything to us. I mean, Zahn's a prick, but his parents haven't done anything to us, have they?
To be honest, I haven't even seen his parents nor met them at all.
Who knows if they're even still alive? No one's heard from them. For all we know, it's that fucking pile of rocks and a wig. We have enemies near us.
I mean, it's Moroth. That's not new at all.
No, it's not. Think about it this way. Would we rather keep slightly pushing Teddy? Would we like to keep slightly pushing Teddy away from the edge, only to have the edge get closer and closer to Teddy? Or would we like to put Teddy on solid ground? No fear of falling, no fear of being used as a tool. Safe to study whatever he wants to study, do whatever he wants to do without someone trying to twist it to their own advantage.
It's an interesting point.
All I'm saying is we have the solution.
It's a solution. That's for sure.
It's a pretty good one. That way, look, there's no need to worry about sending someone through bear infested woods if there are no bears in the woods.
I've lately become more concerned about what's in those woods that is not known about.
Honestly, that's a scary thought. There's a lot more here than we thought, but it's fine. We're dealing with it. We're strong. We're alive. It's what's more important. We're sane.
Says the reflection.
We just awoke a god from a crystal prison. I think it's a little bit. I don't think we really have a full grasp of what's reality anymore. Or we don't have the proper tools to say what is or isn't reality. For all we know, you're the reflection. We're getting off topic. The point is, we know there's only one way to protect Teddy. And our darling father just gave it to us.
It's something to definitely consider.
Trying to help out. And with that, the reflection seems to kind of stiffen a little bit and then goes back to normal.
I'll think for a minute. Glance at the mirror. Now, after the reflection pulled out the vial, am I holding the vial right now, or is it like in my pocket?
It's up to you whether you pulled out the vial or not. If you didn't, the reflection still pulled out the vial.
Okay. I'll pull out the vial to kind of just look at it a little bit.
Sure.
Put it back in my pocket. And I'm going to get up and head out of my room.
Any particular direction you're going into?
Yep, I'm gonna head towards where Gabriel and Catherine are having a meeting, and I'm going to see if they're finished or not.
Sure. Let me see if they are finished. So, you go up to Gabriel's office, and the door is closed. When you try the handle, it's locked, signifying that he's not there. When he's not there, the door is locked. When he is there, it's closed, but you can enter.
Knowing my home, I am
Sure.
going to pull out a piece of parchment and write on there asking where Gabriel and Catherine are. I'm just
Sure.
going to hold it out.
Excellent. So there's a moment where the tapestry in the wall next to you kind of flutters a little bit. Then one of the servants gently takes the note from your hand, reads it, and writes down on the note that your father has gone into the library and your mother is by the stables. And then after they tuck the note back into your hand, the tapestry flutters again and they're gone. It's like having real life invisible servants.
I know this place. I am going to make my way to the stables to see Mom.
Sure. So, there's a bit of a commotion by the stables. There is one less horse than there was before. There are no servants around, but your mom is kind of brushing down her horse, which is a large chestnut. I don't know horse measurements, but it's slightly larger than a normal horse.
Missing horse. Is there like blood?
You can make an investigation check if you'd like.
Sure. I'm just curious because I have a feeling I know what it is, but Domiko's probably knows what it is too.
Yeah, probably. You can't see anything. However, you do know that if there's any signs of an incident whatsoever, it's almost immediately cleaned up.
Sure.
Your family likes a very clean home and has ensured that the servants keep a very clean home. And that's the nicest way that I could have put that.
I feel a slight pang of, it's not really guilt, but understanding as to what the servants probably had to clean up. But I approach my mom.
Sure. Jesus. She doesn't seem to notice you at first. She's just humming to herself. She's brushing through the horse's mane.
It's still morning, right?
Yeah, getting to it's heading towards late morning, close to I don't know, about lunch.
Okay. Morning, Mom.
Oh, Domiko's. Morning.
I didn't want to interrupt the meeting that you were having with Dad.
Thank you.
Earlier.
Yes. He does like his meetings.
Yes, he does. haven't been able to catch up much, but how was the trip?
The trip was good. Long, but good. No, it was a long way away from the family.
And I'm guessing it was if my journeys outside of Moroth are anything to take into account, I'm guessing it was also a good learning experience for Persephone.
Not really. We didn't run into any trouble on the road, if that's what you mean. It was really, I mean, we talked to some people around, so we learned a little bit more about the people who live outside of our home, but other than that, not really much went on. How is Teddy?
I believe her on that.
Yeah, go ahead, throw an insight check. Suss your own mom.
Look.
You trust the mirror,
Nope.
but you don't trust
I
your mom.
believe I definitely believe her. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, my journeys were fairly eventful. I mean, I was in Kel at the time, right around the time the dragon attacked.
Right. That's crazy. A dragon came back?
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
It just burned half the city and then left.
Yeah, I was nearby at the time it happened, but yeah, it was crazy,
Well, I'm glad you're safe.
of course. Luckily, our travels didn't have us linger there, but what do you think about Dad's plan?
Well, you know I don't like you putting yourself in danger, but he only wants the best for the family. He doesn't. He's very bad at showing it, but he does love us, and he just wants us to be a little bit better off. And I know it's harsh, but it's all for the family.
I also find it curious. He has me doing the task, but then also putting another task in my lap.
Other task?
Potentially involving one of the families that was at dinner the other night.
Which one?
Masverix.
If I remember correctly, there was only one Masveric at the meeting. What was his name? Tom?
Zahn.
Zahn. What about Zahn?
Wasn't about Zahn, it was about his parents.
Oh, yes. Have you heard anything about them?
I haven't. I haven't even met them or heard of them until, I mean, Zahn kept to himself with some details.
Well, that does seem to be the way of things around here. Keeping things to yourselves, and, you know, I hate it, but what can you do?
I mean, I suppose you learn to live with the secrets.
I guess. You know, it doesn't have to be your father on the throne. We'd be just as happy with you there. Your father would just need to be one of your advisors to you know, help you guide this country.
And to be fair, he seemed pretty insistent on having that crown.
But he's very insistent on. He's just an insistent person. I'm sure I could talk to him and help him see that just having a gray castle on the throne is enough.
I mean, that being said, I'm surprised he hasn't just made moves to have Robert up there instead of me.
I love Robert. I do. But he he has some he's not the most subtle member of the family. He tends to act very quickly, which is not something that would be beneficial in your father's plans.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not very subtle either, and I kind of just motion to my facial features as a
Sure,
tiefling.
but do you remember when those workers were demanding some very, very unfair things of our family, and your father sent Robert to uh, try to negotiate peace? That's what I mean when I say subtle. I don't mean appearance, more actions and thought process.
Fair.
Was there anything else you needed?
Have you seen Robert lately?
She kind of stops and then kind of takes a look around as if looking for him on the ground. No. Now that you mention it, I haven't. But your father said something about sending him on a job or something, didn't he?
I think so. It's just last I spoke with him, our conversation got cut off, and I was hoping to finish that conversation.
Oh, well, I'm sure when he gets back from whatever he's doing for your father, you two can have a lovely conversation.
Yeah. I hope so.
It's good that you two are. Sorry.
Sorry. This is a DM a question.
Sure.
There's an insider again. Does she seem like she's hiding something?
Make an insight check. I'm so sorry, bro,
Yep.
but as far as you can tell, she's telling the truth. These insight rolls are doing you no favors.
No. It'll roll better on my father. Yes, it's just, older brothers sometimes, or older siblings even, just have some good advice at times.
Right. I understand. It's good that you two are talking. I know it's been rough growing up, especially with you being your father's favorite.
Sure didn't seem like that when I was younger at a point, but
I know. He's a very hard man to read, but after being with him for a while, I picked up some things.
you've definitely been with him the longest.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, I was gonna go and take a small ride. Is there anything else you needed from me?
no, I was just wanting to see you. It's nice having you back at the house.
Don't worry, I won't be leaving for a while. You have a good day. And she goes back to brushing her horse's mane.
Going to head back towards the house.
Sure. As you head back towards the house, you pass the little water feature in your lawn, and you hear your reflection say, she's lying to you. Right.
I'm not going to say anything.
Just keep walking by, not even looking, acknowledging its presence. And with that, we're going to hop on over to Zon. What are you doing, Zon?
Waiting.
Cool.
Till someone has news for me.
Sure. Just give me a quick reminder. My notes are all jumbled up. What specifically did you have James looking into?
Oh, fuck. All right.
Because I have all this right here. I just want to know which one specifically.
I mean, any of them, really. He was supposed to be looking into what the fuck the old lady is. He's supposed to find Figley for me. He's supposed to do any sort of research into where the queen is and what the fuck I'm supposed to do with that.
Cool. Okay. So, get a small knock on your study door.
Come in.
A servant comes in and kind of hands you a letter. It has your name written on the back of it, in James's kind of quick scrawled handwriting.
Open it.
Sure. So the letter details. It starts out with an apology for not being able to be there in person to give you a full update, but he's currently in the midst of tracking down some leads. He believes he may have found out something about y'all's guest, but he still wants to verify some sources before, sharing it, just to prevent you from getting some wrong information. He mentioned that there may be a way to sneak your weapons into the ball to properly, take care of the queen. However, it will require some bribery. possibly some replacement of servants. And he's also mentioned that there are some rumors around town of a new visitor who is currently camped outside the gates, and there's been heightened activity from the crow. And then that's all the letter has inside of it.
Okay. I guess I'm just continuing to wait then until he has more for me.
Cool. All right.
I mean, unless there's any like actual research I can do at my estate, which I don't think I can.
Not really. You do have a lot of books, but none of them would really be suited to our. I mean, you could read about assassinations, see if you can get an upper
I don't
hand.
think I need that.
Fair enough. All right, with that, we're gonna go to Cara and Franziska. What are y'all doing?
I'm just trying to take in all the sights.
Cool.
Having a nice time being in an actually lively city again. It's been a while.
Opposed to what, an undead city?
Well, it was mostly a small town, and then sometimes a really stuck up, tight knit city. More like a palace.
I'm just showing her, pointing out Fish Palace University.
That's a real restaurant, Fish Palace.
I wish it wasn't.
It's the top
What are
restaurant in Morath. How dare you?
I infer that this is a fish establishment then. Huh?
What gave it away?
The decor. Just go
Ah.
back to the gaudy fishes. It is weird to get used to this though. She's going to motion to the mask that she's wearing.
I'd say you get used to it, but you really don't. There's a reason I like traveling outside of the country.
It is nice. The countryside, that is. You know, when I was younger, I trained in the countryside. More so than I trained in the cities. My parents were more city-born than they were into the country life. But my mentor was all about traveling. Got to see a lot of Kel then during that time.
Who was your mentor?
Believe it or not, they were a bit of a entertainer. Kind of lived a bit of a double life, if I'm honest. See, they were a type of reformer of sorts who would also act as a sword for hire. They had originally been hired to protect me in my youth, but I ended up having a bit of skill with the blade myself. So they took me under their wing. That's how I actually managed to join the Order of the Birax.
You weren't trained by a clown, right?
I don't believe he was. I mean, he did teach me how to do this. I'm gonna kind of like pick up a couple of like loose rocks from the ground and kind of just juggle them for a bit before catching all of them in like one hand. But that was more or less a kind of publicity stunt thing. You normally do it with swords, like short swords or daggers. Really gets the crowd's blood pumping.
Oh no, now I'm paranoid. She's swearing at the sky.
But that was a very long time ago. What about you? Were you ever given any training for the magic that you can do?
No. I probably should have been, but my older sister's a wizard and my little brother's a bard, so it's not exactly the same. That's mostly why I was out in the country to begin with, just to learn a little bit more.
I see. I think it's a good thing, personally, to learn a bit about yourself when you can. At least at some point along your journey, you will be able to spend time with your family still. They, as much as you don't get along, believe me when I say this, you will treasure those moments when they are gone.
Sure. I have, assuming I don't get fucking staked, an eternity ahead of me.
Well, on the bright side, you have all of eternity to dodge that possibility.
Fucking, I dodged being killed for a couple months straight. I don't want to do that for the rest of my life.
Personal preferences.
Personal preference is not to want to die.
You know, truth be told, I somewhat was saddened to not be in Kel for similar reasons. I mean, you hear rumors about a dragon coming up and burning half a town. That sounds like it would have been a fun fight to fight in.
Oh, no, it wouldn't have been.
Oh,
Is it crowded around us?
I mean, it's normal. At this point, you guys will be walking around the marketplace, so it's like semi-crowded. There's nobody standing right next to you, but if you speak loudly, people are just going to be able to hear.
I'll tell you later.
Hmm.
Morath has too many ears, too many places.
Ah. So someone's probably listening in right now.
Whether they mean to listen in directly on us or not. But someone's always got their ear to the ground.
Well, they can listen if they want. Nothing I say is anything secret. Dying to fight a great beast sounds like a fun way to go.
Why?
Because I don't have many people left to face, if at all. I'm not exactly young anymore.
You don't even look that old.
You don't need to remind me. of that. I'm well aware that on the surface and perhaps even physically, I'm still quite young. But I have been around for a while.
And at
Long
this
enough.
point, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's fine.
So at this point, while you two are discussing Franziska's age or lack of appearance of age, you guys are kind of like just looking around the market, and you both see a large, dark figure kind of pushing its way through the crowd. Kara, you recognize this as James,
Oh,
and he seems very determined. Like he is a point that he is going to go to, and he is just kind of gently moving people aside to kind of push through some of the more crowded sections of the marketplace.
there goes Zon's favorite garden statue.
That is quite an interesting individual.
Where is he go? I kind of want to know where he's going, actually.
I want to know more about this person myself.
Go over to Zon's house. You fucking get enough of him in one go to last you a lifetime. But let's see where he's going.
Sure. So, so you guys just following, or are you trying to be a little bit quieter about it?
I think I'll try to follow and maybe be a little bit more on the quiet side.
Sure. Go ahead, throw stealth checks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will in just a moment.
Oh,
Love it.
the dice are mad at us.
I haven't rolled yet.
The dice are
Oh
mad
my
at us.
god. You guys both rolled each other's numbers.
Yeah, okay.
The dice are quite mad.
This is gonna be a rough session for y'all.
Mine doesn't matter though, so it doesn't matter.
True. So as you guys are going along, James seems to, like, at certain points he'll kind of stop, kind of look a little bit of, actually, let me throw a fucking perception check for this boy.
Get a nat 20.
Jesus Christ. So he kind of like looks around. He doesn't seem to notice you guys.
Oh
even with
no!
shitty stealth. I rolled a 2. This is ridiculous. This is
great.
failing upwards. This one So he does kind of seem to be looking around. He's almost seemed he seems kind of nervous. Actually, he does seem to be going. Actually, throw an insight check real quick.
Sure.
Both of yous, because we need it. Oh, nice.
Hey!
So, Kara, you're from the way that he's going, it does seem to be that he is heading towards Zon's house. However, he is going a very long and discreet way, like he's trying to throw someone off of his trail. And the way he keeps looking around him and kind of like pausing, it's almost like he expects someone to be following him.
Oh, it's probably not the ones you expect.
Unfortunately, he can't see for shit, apparently.
Does it look like there's anybody?
Make a perception check.
Both of us?
Kara, have you mentioned this to Franziska?
Yeah, I'm gonna relay to her because my perception's only a +1.
Cool, then yes, both of y'all.
I'll try and take a look as well.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Okay, so so there is You're both kind of looking around. Car, you're kind of more focused on ground level. You don't see anybody that's actively following. But Franziska, there's, as you guys are walking underneath, sort of like through an alleyway, a little bit of like brick dust crumbles down onto your shoulder. And when you look up, you can see, just only there for like half a second, somebody's moving on the rooftops.
I think perhaps we should have a bit of help in this endeavor. Hang on for just a moment.
Oh, what the
And Francisca is going to reach under her cloak for a second to where that sword is kind of the sword hilt is holstered.
Sure.
And as she does so, she's going to focus on herself and Kara, and I am going to cast invisibility with a 3rd level spell slot.
Nice.
So both me and Kara become invisible.
And not the Great Dane that is walking beside you, who kind of stops and then looks confused,
I forgot about him.
and then immediately starts heading in another direction.
Nope. Nope.
I'm going to drop the invisibility. Well, that could have gone better. Grab a hold of him. Let's do this again. And second verse, same as the verse, except at a 4th level.
Okay.
So now all 3 of us are visible.
The 3 are invisible. And if anything, the expression on this Great Dane's face just got more mischievous.
Now, we have a rockman to trail.
We can't see his expression anymore.
True. Which is a shame.
You can feel it. You can feel it.
That's fair.
All right. So, as you guys are walking, you see that James he's kind of stopped. He stopped in front of a doorway. He's talking to somebody in kind of like hushed tones. All right, you can feel Noodle. You can feel Noodle kind of like starting to kind of go a little bit.
Oh no. Is he gonna spit something up?
And so James is continuing up. It does seem to be just almost like he was clearing his throat a little bit. But yeah, Noodle kind of goes a little bit quiet after that. And James is having this conversation with somebody in there and kind of like stops and takes a quick look around, pulls out a kind of like a money purse and hands it to whoever's standing inside of this doorway, and then hurries on.
What part of the Moroth are we in right now? Like,
you guys are still in the marketplace. You're still in the noble area. You guys really haven't left the noble area at all. You haven't gone towards the slums, towards the city walls. You guys are still in. You're especially nowhere near the assassination neighborhood where you just walk 10 feet and they get stabbed like 30 times. So you're not in the murder zone.
Okay, that's good to know. Well,
we're not in the blatant murder zone.
There we go. That's the better wording.
Since he's on the move, we might as well keep at it. I will also look up towards the roofs.
Make another perception check. This time you don't really. You're not seeing anything.
Okay. If it helps, my passive is 15.
Your passive is 15. Then yes, you do. When you look up, you're not able to actively see anybody, but as you're walking along, you're seeing a little bit more brick dust come down, and in the really quiet alleyways where you can hear like James's heavy feet like walking down, you can hear another set of feet coming from above.
Okay. It's gonna keep following, but I am kind of gonna be intermittently like keeping an ear out for the dust as you try to trail James invisibly.
Sure. So, you see James. He like goes for another good 5 minutes of walking before taking a sudden right turn through a four-legged section. He goes to what looks to be a rain barrel, and kind of takes the cup that's next to it, kind of scoops out some of the rain, drinks some, puts the cup back down the exact spot where it was, and continues moving on.
He actually has to drink. He's a rock after
Yep.
all.
That is unusual. I was gonna say next to Kara while invisible. I don't think talking breaks the spell.
It doesn't. It's an action.
I will walk over towards the rain bucket and try to like. Is there anything about it that looks like it might be like have any markings of any sort?
Yeah, sure. Make an investigation check.
God damn.
Jesus
Christ.
So, you're noticing a series of symbols carved, like it's very faint, and you really don't notice them by seeing. It's kind of like when you go to reach for the cup itself has a whole series of carvings on it that are very slight, almost as if there's a sort of language written on there. What languages can you read? Bless you.
Right now, I can read. Let's see. Common, Elvish, and I believe.
Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's none of those.
Okay.
You're not sure what language is on there, but it does seem like there is, and like on a closer inspection of the barrel itself, it does seem like it's repeated. Like it's almost like this barrel is covered in this weird language. And when you go to when you look inside, you notice that there's a letter stuck on the inside of the barrel just above the water in what seems to be a sort of makeshift letter holder. And even when you look up, you notice that the way the roof on the building above is slanted, rain would never come into this barrel.
I don't want to disturb the letter or the contents, but I'm just gonna say I think there might be something interesting here. Give me a moment. And using an action drops invisibility then, right?
Yes.
Our invisibility drops as you see Francisca kind of run her finger along the brim of her hat, and it kind of light up a little bit with some kind of grayish magic. And I am going to cast Comprehend Languages.
Sure. So, instantly, as your fingers kind of run across the symbols, does that tell you what language it is, or just?
there's a specific thing with it. I understand the literal meaning of any the literal meaning of any spoken language as well as any written language that I see. But I
Cool.
must be touching the surface on which the words are written. So
Yeah,
after I do that, I kind of try to run my hands along the cup to
sure.
get an idea of the symbols, and then try to do the same for the inside of the bucket.
So there's a lot of information to process through here. Essentially, this is what the Thieves Guild of Moroth uses to communicate. The letters inside are marked as communication between members of the Thieves Guild, and there is a lot of the word "safe" repeated on the barrel itself.
Interesting. So this is something that the Thieves Guild of Moroth use. It's a information conveyance point. Seeing as how I am a bit new in the city, I don't feel like pissing off half of the Thieves Guild. So I think I'll very much just leave this alone.
That's fair, but
Still-
that's also good to know.
Seems like this person who works for Zon is being made quite busy.
I don't like that.
Perhaps we should pay him a visit. You're all comrades. I'm sure he may convey some form of intent.
We'll see. Go see where James has gone.
So when you look up, there's no sign of James. While you guys were investigating this rain barrel, James disappeared. If you want to see if you can track him using footprints in the dirt, you're going to have to, or well, the dirt that's covering the cobblestones, you're going to have to make a survival check. And I'll allow both of you to make one, see if you can pick up his trail.
All right.
Franziska, familiar with this kind of work, you do quickly pick up his tracks. And you're able to follow him. And they're not very hard to, at least for you to follow. He's a rather large being, and being stealthy isn't his best tool. Kara, you're just not a tracker.
It's made to read books, not to track targets.
So you follow these tracks, and they lead to sort of an open area. There's kind of looks like an empty, almost mini town square. There's a lot of buildings around. His footprints lead up to one building, and they go up to the front door, and that's where they stop. Implying that he went into the building, not just disappeared from where he was standing. Just wanted to clear that up. That would be where my first thought would be. He went inside of the building.
Yes.
I was like, he went straight up.
The crow. Seems he's inside taking care of some business.
Your passive is 15, right?
Yes.
So just kind of like walking up, you notice that one of the windows on the third story is open.
Interesting. Well, I noticed one of the upper windows is open. Is that the third story one? Is that like the highest floor of that building?
It is the highest floor of the building, and it does actually match up. Like the roof of the building next to it and then the third floor story. Jesus Christ. The third story window is open, and it kind of looks like it'd just be a short hop to get over there from the other roof.
Well, you see, while we have been tracking games, someone has also been following from above.
Do you think they climbed in that window?
It looks like it lines up. They could be inside. I don't know if they are to meet with James on some Thieves Guild business, or if perhaps there might be something dangerous awaiting him inside. I almost want to go in and check.
Well, if the man can fight 4 different people, 2 magic users, and 2 fucking tanks at once, I think he'll be fine if it's only one person that's chasing him. I'd rather not. There's only 2 of us, and Noodle.
And Noodle.
I don't.
Well, we know where he will ultimately end up if he is successful. If he is perhaps in danger and does not return in a timely manner, we know where he will last location is likely to have been. Ultimately, we'll be able to mount a rescue if we need to.
Wait and see if he comes out.
Sure. So y'all are gonna wait.
Mhm.
All right. And while they're waiting, I think let's go ahead and take just a quick 10-minute break. I got to refill on water, so we'll catch you guys back in 10 minutes. Yeah. All right. See y'all in 10.
Get back.
Hey guys, welcome back. So, how long are y'all waiting outside of this house?
What time is it?
It's around 11:30.
They're not expecting us anywhere. Hopefully. Gonna look at
Yeah.
Francisca.
I don't have anywhere to be at the moment.
Be more than a couple of hours, right?
I'd say give it an hour.
Cool. So, y'all are waiting for an hour. Zahn, are you still waiting for news?
I mean, I got nothing else to do.
Okay. Damikos, you want to do anything?
Yep. I am walking back into the house and heading to the library, and if nothing happens between front door and the library, such as running into Persephone, because I'm pretty sure she's still around somewhere, I'm gonna go talk to my dad if he's still there.
Sure. So, yeah, you don't see Persephone. She's off doing whatever she does. You do make it in the library where there are a bunch of books. And your father is sitting in a just wooden chair because he's not an overstuffed kind of chair kind of guy. He's a wooden hard-backed seat kind of guy. And he seems to be leafing through a rather large tome.
Morning, Dad.
He does not acknowledge.
If it is of a convenience to you, I would like to have a meeting.
Don't you have a job you need to be doing?
It has to do with the job.
He shuts the book, puts it on the table beside him. What?
I realize that there are certain things that I am good at and other things that I am not as good at, partially due to the fact that I have not been in Morath as long as you or Mom or Robert.
Get to the point, Damikos. You have a job to do.
I'm to kill the Queen. I need access to information.
Well, I don't expect to hold your hand the entire way, Damikos. That's not the Grey Castle way. If you wish for information, you must go out and search for it. Perhaps I can point you in the right direction. What kind of information are you looking for?
Any information I can gather about the Queen herself.
Well, she comes from very lower family. When she ascended, she chose to leave her family behind. She immediately put herself. She immediately put herself under heavy guard. She is not seen without at least 16 guards to her person. Of course, this is all information you know. The only time the guards will be slightly distracted would be the ball, which is when I highly recommend you attack, but I'm not telling you how to do this because you are a grown man and should be able to kill someone without your dad holding your hand the entire time.
That is exactly the response I would expect from you.
Are you expecting someone else to be pretending to be me?
No, I just expected someone who wants his son to have the crown to then pass on to him. Be a little
Damikos,
more curious about perhaps making sure the son has access to information.
there is no book that is restricted here. You have access to all the information you'd like. I am not. If you wish for the crown for yourself, I will act as an advisor, and that is fine. However, if you are going to choose the crown for yourself, you are going to build up your own cabal of spies. You are going to network. I have spent years building mine up. If you want good connections, you cannot rely on someone else's name. You must build things from the ground up. This is the lesson I've been trying to instill in each of my children as they were growing up. You cannot rely on someone else for your own growth. He kind of snaps his fingers and holds out a hand. The tapestry flutters. You see a servant handing him a mug that is steaming. Tapestry flutters again, and the servant is gone. He takes a sip, puts the cup down on the table next to him near the book, and then looks at you expectantly, as if waiting for you to respond.
This is true. You have to build up your own connections, as you put it, a cabal, but I'm fairly certain you also had guidance on that at some point early on.
And who, pray tell, would be my guidance? My father? My mother? I had nothing. Just this, and a failing business that I tore apart and restructured into building this family into one of the top families in Moroth, one with a real contender for the crown. This family will succeed, Domikos. And he gets up, grabs his book, and goes over to a bookshelf and puts it back. Back is to you. This family will succeed. I hope that you will assist us. It'd be a shame to have Teddy be the one to make the move on the Queen. I do not believe Teddy would have as high a chance of success as you.
Who knows? Until it happens.
Well, if you'd like, we can test that out. Just simply tell me that you are too weak to kill the Queen.
You know I won't say that.
He sighs, kind of his shoulders drop a little bit. Then he rolls them back and turns to face you, hands clasped behind his back.
That also means I'm not going to make it an admittance unless I absolutely have to.
Domikos, this is not a world for weak people. In this world, might makes right. If you are unable to carry your own burden, how are you going to carry the families? You wish so eagerly to protect Theodore, to protect him from these politics, from the bloody game that we all play. But you can't even complete a job. You cannot build your own network. If you truly feel that you need some hand holding through this, I'll leave a few names. I'll have a servant give them to you. I'll let them know to expect you to call on them. Don't worry, there's only a little bit of shame in this method. I'd prefer you built up your own network, your allies.
I'll please one of those allies is vying for the crown anyways.
Right. And I suggest you deal with that as quickly as possible. Or not. It's up to you. But you or I will be wearing the crown at the end of this. Not him. Is that clear?
On that, we already agree.
Good. Now, did you want me to hold your hand through this, or were you going to build your own network?
I'm going to stand. And walk over to him to where we're kind of standing like facing each other, but I'm kind of like off kilter a little bit.
Sure.
Off the side. So I'm curious what your opinion is on an idea I have.
Now this is promising. And he walks past you to sit back into his chair, takes another sip from his drink, puts it down, and gestures for you to sit in the chair across from him.
As I turn, I would like to glance at the spine of the book he had been reading and see if I can read the title.
So this book actually, it doesn't have any markings on the outside of it. It is it's surprisingly thin. It's more, when I say large tome, it's very large as in like height.
Just like
It's a
size.
dark red cover. You've seen your father read this from time to time, but he always either puts the book away or closes it whenever you get close enough to see the contents.
So it's a book it's a familiar book to me in the sense I've seen him.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to turn around. Sit down and lean forward. What would you think about utilizing the resources of the Velesteros family?
Explain.
Not necessarily to the extreme, just as a guarantor.
You do understand that no assassins can touch the queen. That is the agreement that has been solidified upon this family, upon this country for
I'm
years.
not referring to the queen.
Oh. Now that is interesting. You probably won't want your name on it, just in case it falls through. Come back to me tomorrow. We'll have a discussion set up. 3 p.m. Exactly. Here.
PM, and I will go into more detail on my idea.
Sorry, I've lost the first half of that.
3 p.m. I'll be there, and I will go into more detail.
Good. You are dismissed.
I will leave.
Cool. So he goes back to just drinking his drink. As you're passing through the hallway, there is a large mirror on one of the walls that you're going through, and as you walk by, you hear your reflection go, "We could have taken care of him there, with his back to his drink, gone."
I'm going to think to myself because I'm not going to say this out loud as I'm leaving the library. I don't fully expect, like I'm thinking this to myself,
Sure.
to my reflection, because I'm telepathic and I can do that.
Cool.
He's the one who gave the poison. I have a feeling he has defenses against it.
There is no response back from your
Of
reflection.
course, there is not.
And when you look over, it's just your reflection. Nothing abnormal about it whatsoever.
I leave.
Cool. And with that, we're going to hop back to the group. It's been an hour and there's been no sign from James and no movement from within the house whatsoever.
Well, now I am starting to get a little worried.
Well, we've got several possibilities. He's either dead or there's like a fucking tunnel in there. Or he's still having a meeting.
True, and true.
Are there any like signs, or is this just a house?
It's just a house. There are quite a few houses like in this little mini square here. It just looks like any other kind of house you'd find in Moroth.
So I'm re-upping polymorph on Noodle, by the way. I just
Fair enough.
remembered.
Well, tell me something. Do you have anything to make your pets lighter?
Like to pick him up, or
Yes.
I can put him on a disc, or I can change him into something else.
You might want to do that. They say as I pull out the
Which
the
one?
string.
Which one?
Too late. Fight has already started.
Oh,
you
fuck.
ready?
Step behind, Clara.
Oh god.
I would say not the disc. I'd say as
Okay.
she just starts kind of adjusting some of the keys.
Can I change him into a kitten instead of a Great Dane?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, buddy. You are gonna sit in my backpack for a little bit.
And I am going to pluck a few notes, kind of a airy, almost harp-like tune, just for like a quick, like, we'll say like 3 or 4 seconds,
Sure.
as I cast Fly on Kara.
Ah. I don't like where this is going.
Whoop!
Okay.
I know that
And-
I'm going to go in there and try to find out. You're free to follow me, or
You,
may now move quite fast back to wherever you wish.
if you want me to go through the window?
I mean,
The fucking door, okay.
I think it's the best, right? It's already open. They won't hear it.
Are you also going to fly, or are you going to climb?
And as she asks that, Francisca is just going to kind of like hop a bit into the air as her shoes kind of have these small little like wing engravings on them. And they kind of fold out and are kind of flying and keeping her in the air. Well, come along. So I'm going to try work my way up to the 3rd story floor.
Alright. I'm going after her.
Sure. So when you guys enter in the 3rd story, this thing is covered in dust. You can see footprints leading towards the stairs through how much dust there is up there. It kind of looks like this place would store like museum relics and stuff like that. There's a few chests scattered around. When you get to the head of the stairs going down, not covered in dust at all.
Well, that's quite suspicious. I'm going to try and listen if I can hear like any voices in here. What sounds like it might be talking.
Yeah, make a perception check. You can't hear anything.
Yep.
Which may actually be worse than hearing voices in some contexts.
Yep.
Spooky.
Hmm. I'm gonna actually avoid the stairs. Kind of fly over and start like hovering my way down.
Sure. So, as you hover your way down, you get to the second floor, and you notice that there is somebody kind of leaning over the railing at the edge of the floor. There is a door that's ajar leading further into the building. There's more stairs going down to the first floor, and over the railing, there's that guy leaning.
Does he look like he's conscious and awake?
Just kind of like make an investigation check. Sure. So he's kind of like leaning over. When you get closer, you can start hearing like a dripping noise. He does not look conscious. When you kind of get a little bit closer, he's dead. He's been fucked up, like throat slit, kind of pushed up against the railing. When you look down, there's more bodies on the first floor. These bodies are all wearing like dark leather clothing. They're pretty fucked up.
Are they all dressed similarly?
Yeah.
Shit, somebody fucked up the thieves' guild.
I'm going to flutter up back to where Kara is. So I found a door that's ajar. And it also appears that there was well, I wouldn't call it a fight because I don't know how one-sided it was, but it seems pretty likely that these 4 dead bodies did not stand much of a chance. They were remarkably intact. I could not immediately tell they were dead, except going in closer. Is this Rockman known for his precision?
Oh, fuck no. You've seen the size of his fucking fist? Absolutely not.
That we might have a problem.
Let's keep going.
I'm actually going to reach up under my cape and pull out the sword hilt and just hold it in my hand. So we flutter back down to the second floor. Just kind of like fly and kind of land a little bit in front of that body.
Okay. You mean the body on the railing?
Yeah. Look to the open door. Try to. You know what? I'm going to try and be stealthy. This kind of
Cool.
moves slower.
Not bad. Yeah, you're moving as quietly as you possibly can. You recognize some of these boards are made to creak when stepped on, so you're avoiding those with ease.
I take it Kara's kind of like flying down.
I'm not touching the ground if I don't have to.
That's good. Because I will be pulling out a small piece of wire and pointing to you to just see like some of these boards are designed in order to give off more sound when stepped on. It's a good idea to keep hovering.
don't think I can stop hovering, so I'll just I'll just follow behind.
All right. Moving into this room, does it look like there's more carnage that has been unleashed in here, or
So you ease your way into this room, and you see what looks like it was a planning room. There's dead bodies, at least 6 dead bodies inside of here. Whatever maps or documents they had are just ruined. What isn't covered in blood has been stacked up and set on fire in the fireplace. Um, there, somebody went through here and massacred everyone in this room.
this is not pretty, but it is also very meticulous.
Throw a medicine check for me, please, or investigation.
I would like to. I
15's
would like
fine.
to. Yeah. Okay.
15's fine. So, these people were not killed quick. The people inside of here were killed painfully. The people outside, it was, I mean, their throats were slit. They were killed pretty quick. But the people in here, their wounds suggest that the person took their time.
I will file that information away. And does this room have any dust in it at all, or has it been
No, this room looks pretty well cleaned, well taken care of.
more than likely wouldn't find any footprints?
Yeah, no.
Well, given the fact that whoever did this left a huge amount of bodies lying and piling all over here, it's very likely that probably have found another way out than the front. Oh, actually, can I look for anything damaged that's like looks like it might have been destroyed in whatever this might have been scuffle wise?
Sure.
I'm looking for any sign of like a James being a bigger guy, if there might be like something that might have like a James fist sized hole in it.
Make an investigation check.
Can I float into the room after her?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
It doesn't look like James was up here at all. You're finding, actually, you found what looked to be plans to break into the palace, specifically armed towards the treasury and vault. But they are plans to break into the palace nonetheless, perfectly intact. Doesn't look like James came up here at all.
I'm going to take some of those plans, but kind of fold them up and store them in my pack. But at the same time, just make a note that those were not touched or burned.
Is
So-
everything that's been burned like ash now?
Mostly. I mean, it's not. It doesn't look recoverable. And you have to reach into the fire to get whatever few papers are not yet fully burned.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah.
Oh. Hmm.
We should be very quiet.
Can I check if the dead guys have bite marks on them?
Yeah. Make an investigation check. So one of the dead guys looks like someone tore out his throat, but no like vampire bites on him.
Like somebody grabbed his throat and ripped it out? Or like... I don't know how else you tear out a throat but teeth.
That's not great.
Terrible suspicion. Well, I'm not gonna say anything about it while we're still in here because we need to figure out where the fuck James went.
Well, there's one more floor to explore. I would probably do much the same as I did last time.
Sure. So you float down the stairs. There's the 3 bodies that are like on the ground. You make an investigation check
Okay.
real quick for me, just because you're throwing out these fucking huge numbers.
Apparently.
So you notice that the front door is trapped. It looks to be that there is a certain order, like a certain code that you have to put input from the other side. It looks to be if the door is opened improperly, a crossbow bolt will fly from a well-hidden crossbow and hit. It's about head level for the average human. But yeah, that's what you first see when you go down. Then you take a look to the right where there's this big living room. Looks like a false wall. Something very heavy was thrown through it. You can see a minor collection of like black rocks near the broken false wall. And it looks to be like there was once something behind this wall, but whatever was thrown through it broke. Whatever was behind it. And now it's leading like kind of like a pit down. On closer inspection, these black rocks look very similar to the rocks that James is made out of. And you also find the sigil of Grey Castle near these rocks, almost as if it was torn off of someone's clothes as they were moving quickly.
How much black rocks are there here?
Not much. It looks like it would be a chunk was taken out of James's body, but not much. But that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for joining us for another week of FetchQuest. We'll see y'all next week to see what happened to James. Anything anybody wants to promote or anything like that? All right. Y'all stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. And wear a fucking mask. I'm sick of this quarantine.